President Trump just announced the killing of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS. I wanted to just help you sort through what all this means. First of all, make no mistake that most people we know and move and live among on a day-to-day basis are heartened by this news, feel some sense of vindication and justice has happened by this news. That said, some of the claims coming out of the White House and some of the information that has emerged over the last couple of days is misleading. I just wonder if you remember where you were the day that Abu Musab al-Zarqawi was killed, or the day that Abu Ayyub al-Masri was killed, or the day Abu Omar, the actual first emir of ISIS, was killed, the day Osama bin Laden was killed. Baghdadi was not the founder of ISIS. All these names that I've given off are predecessors in this line of succession that got us to the group that we have today as ISIS. The claims that the world is just definitively safer because Baghdadi is dead, that is not true. It wasn't true when Zarqawi was killed. It wasn't true when Masri was killed. It wasn't true when the first emir of ISIS was killed. It wasn't true when Osama bin Laden was killed. These groups have gone on. They passed down their ideology from one to another. They passed down their structures in the days even leading up to Baghdadi's death. Leadership had already been handed over. ISIS still has reach and leadership and information networks and structures all over the world. We cannot bomb these ideas out of existence. Now, there are some things that are very concerning. While President Trump said this operation has only been in the works for a couple days, and then at a different point he said a couple weeks, the Kurdish leader, General Mazloum, that President Trump has referenced numerous times over the last couple of weeks, said that this operation has been in play for much longer, and said that the operation was delayed by a month because of the Kurdish-Turkish fighting that has been going on after the U.S. pulled out of northeastern Syria. Here's another piece of that I want to draw attention to. The Turkish claim about the Kurds is that Turkey needs this strip of land to be nearly 300 miles long, 20 miles deep, and call it a safe zone because Turkey is not safe from the Kurds because the Kurds are all terrorists in this zone. That's been the Turkish claim. Meanwhile, over here in the western part of Syria, very, very close to Turkey's border, we find that the top leader of ISIS has been hiding out, at least since the summertime. Why is it that ISIS's top leader can live within just a few miles of Turkey's border, but an entire ethnic group have to be driven out and cleansed from their indigenous homeland under the pretense that all of them are terrorists? A known terrorist can live within a few miles, and an entire population of civilians cannot be allowed to live in their homeland. One has to ask, was a deal made handing over the Kurds in order to have access to capture and or kill Baghdadi, who was hiding out in a region that has largely and for a long time been considered a Turkish support region? Turkey has long been accused of facilitating open border transfers into this al-Qaeda-like region and now emergent ISIS safe haven. Knowing that Baghdadi was there since summer, and then seeing the Kurds handed over in the last 2 weeks, and then immediately after that, the U.S. getting straight shot to access Baghdadi without Russians fighting back, without Syria fighting back, without Turkey fighting back, and with the joint support of Kurdish ground forces. At the very least, it shows the complexity of the region, and at the worst, I have questions still that are unanswered about what backroom deals were made to suddenly move this along. My last major point is that the killing of Baghdadi has already infuriated Turkish-backed ground forces. The people on the ground carrying out Turkey's invasion, who are part of the Free Syrian Army, backed by Turkey, Islamist ISIS-style fighters. They believed in the mission that Baghdadi believed in. They are carrying out the work of cleansing out the Kurds and the Assyrians and the Yazidis in the style and fashion of Baghdadi and ISIS. And so, while on the one hand we tout the defeat of an ISIS leader, we are, the United States government and President Trump himself, praising the Turkish coalition that is cleansing out this land and creating what they call a safe zone. It's not safe for the Kurdish, Assyrian, Yazidi, and other ethno-religious minority groups who call this land their home, generationally their home. It's not safe for them as these ISIS-styled fighters go marching through their streets, killing, beheading, mutilating people. So which is it? Are we on the side of freedom and justice and morality and rules of law and rules of engagement? Are we against ISIS and ISIS-style fighters and ISIS-type ideology? Or are we just pure pragmatists? And we will back whichever side of whichever fight serves us in whichever way at that moment. This conflict has become far more complicated even than it already was over the last 2 weeks because of the moves that the American government has made. And the killing of one ISIS leader is not going to simplify anything. Please know this: real people, Kurds, Assyrians, Yazidis, are being pushed out of their homes. Even after the Russian-Turkish deal and the United States victory lap, there is still much violence going on. And our people and our friends and the people you've helped us care for are still very much at risk. We need your help, continuing to feed them, continuing to show up with the shelter that they need and the medical support that they need. Please consider sharing this video so that more truth and facts and analysis from the ground from people who really know the region get shared, get mind share among us, and we aren't left listening to the propaganda wings of any one presidency in any of these countries who are implicated right now. Help us provide the emergency support that we need to our friends who are running for their lives as a result of this violence. If you have the capacity to sign up to be a monthly sponsor, the moves of the last 2 and 3 weeks have put us in a month-over-month crisis that we are not going to likely be able to find our way out of as a humanitarian organization and as a civilian population on the ground. We're not going anywhere, and we're grateful that you are choosing to stick around with us. More to come.